All right, hey folks, what's up? Today is March 25th, 2025. I'm Eric. I'm with Success Over Stress, and appreciate you for joining. Welcome to the newest members. And if you'd like to be recognized as the newest member, just be sure to make a comment on one of the videos that you are a new member, and I want to start recognizing some folks. At any rate, this is going to be a simple video. This video here is about how to put your indicator on your chart, right? We do a lot with the programming, that kind of thing. I know there's some people who are kind of getting started and they're trying to figure out how to get their indicators on their chart. I did have somebody who reached out in the forums, and they had the indicator, they had the program going just right, but they actually couldn't get the indicator to show up on the chart just right. I think they had a subgraph, right? So let's see if I can duplicate it here. They had a chart where it was a fair value gap, right? So they wanted the fair value gaps to show up here, and they did show up here, but it also created a subgraph down here. There was nothing actually in the subgraph because the rectangles were created up here in the main window of the chart. So if you go to the chart and you click edit studies, and then you click on anything, like I have the time of sales order blocks here. If I double click on that, then it'll open up this window here, which allows me to tell you what, let's get this big S out of the way. I thought that would do differently. Let's see here. Right here. Okay. All right. So here, when you got scaling, so what you can do is, if you apply the indicator to one of your subgraphs, so essentially this main chart here is graph 1, and then your subgraph, this first one here, will be subgraph 2. So you see that subgraph 2. If I change this to 1, then it actually applies this indicator to this first main graph here. So I don't want, let's put the axis on the left, right? So right now I don't have any axis on the left. I only have a price axis on the right. Now my indicator is going to have a price axis or a value axis on the left. Okay, so if I hit OK, you see now I have a axis on the left here. That axis on the left is for my indicator only, but you see there, one is imposed over another. So I can drag this indicator up or down, and my chart stays the same. And now I can change the scaling only on the left. I can change the scaling of my indicator. So I can put that, drag that down to wherever I want it at, right? Depending on what you're doing, you may find a use for this, right? So now my right side is still only for my price. Okay, so I can click and drag this down, which adjusts my price only. See what I did there? Okay. Now, the only thing about this is when you scroll from left to right, so now this price axis is fixed. So the top of it is somewhere around 58.27. The bottom of the price axis is somewhere around 57.96. And so when I move left or right, that price axis stays fixed. Okay. And so if I move too far to the left, and price is no longer in that zone, now I don't see anything, right? And it's the same way for the left side, which became fixed when I scrolled as well. All right, so let's scroll back over. Okay, so here, again, this axis is fixed now. And that might be okay for some indicators, right? So you might want to see that these indicators are within a certain range. Now, just so happens this specific indicator here, this only works on live data, and I don't have it stream writing from previous data. I don't think. No, that's one. I think I am recording the data, but I don't have it set up to pull the data just yet. So if I go way back to the left to a previous day, I don't see any more data. Okay. All right. So that being said, let's go back over to the right again. So again, you have two axes. Now, if you go into your chart and you right click, you can go to think it's settings and window. And then you can show the left axis, you can show the price on the left axis or the right axis. You can display whatever axis you want to. Now we're going to get rid of the left axis there, and then click OK. And you see we get rid of the left axis. But now, remember, this is only controlled by the left axis. So now that we can drag this up and down, unfortunately, we can't control the axis anymore because we just got rid of it. Of course, you can take this, double click on the indicator on the window. That's one way they make it easier for you. You can double click on that. Let's go back and hit right, and then go back to the left axis again. Click OK, and you see, still doesn't show up. All right, so double click on that. Now we're going to move this down to subgraph 2. So this will be at a graph below, so it won't be on the main graph of the chart. Click OK. Okay, so now our axis for this indicator is on the right hand side. Now another thing that you can do, instead of right clicking on the screen and going to settings and window, you can just go to the axis, right click on the axis and click left display, right display. Right, and so it naturally, it just kind of by default duplicates what you have on the right axis to the left axis. Okay, all right, take off the left axis. Okay, so like I said, that I think that was that guy's problem, because he applied the indicator to the second subgraph, yet the rectangles showed up in the top subgraph. Now, when you're programmed with easy language, as I understand, whatever you put in this bottom, whatever you put in the indicator, drawing rectangles or anything like that, will naturally show up in the main chart, because that's where you're really applying all of your drawing objects at. But there is one thing that you can do to show it in the subgraph. All right, so we'll just do a brief demonstration of that. Let's see, let's go over here to notes here. And if we start an indicator, okay, and we'll do something like using EL system, drawing. Let's go ahead and do drawing objects, and then we're going to do EL system as well. But now when we come down here and we declare a variable, we'll make it a rectangle, call it rect1 null. And then when we'll do like a once begin end, and then we'll say rect1 equals rectangle dot create, and then we'll do a datetime point dot create, and then we'll do a bar date time, and then we'll do low. Let's do high, and then we'll do dt point dot create bar date time of 5 bars ago, and then we'll do that of the low. Close that one. Close that one. Do that. This needs to be pulled over to here. Okay, we're gonna lock this rectangle. So that'll be true. Rect1 dot persist equals true, and then drawing objects dot add. That's how you add it to the drawing object collection. Rect1, just like that. So we're only gonna do this one time. Okay, so once, we'll do it if it's the last bar on the chart though. If last x then once. Okay, so let's verify that, see what errors we have. No errors. Okay, so let's come over back to the chart. This was called delete 24. I don't want to mess with this screen because I've got stuff going on here that I don't want to mess with. So let's put this on a 5-minute time frame. Go to delete 24. This was a ShowMe. Okay, click OK. All right, so we see we have our rectangle here. We try to click on it and drag it, we can't drag it. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to see how we get that back to the bottom. if we put that in a subgraph in the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to, at the bottom, we're going to plot one. It's going to be the close. Okay, so we come back here. We're going to double click on this. See if we can get the indicator. Okay, so we got the indicator. I'm going to go to general. Oh, well, so this is the thing. And like I said, I naturally do this just because I kind of know what I'm looking for, right? So when I'm doing a lot of objects and drawing objects and that kind of thing on the chart, I naturally go for a ShowMe, right? But if you want to make an indicator that will do other things at the bottom of the chart, then you want to go for an indicator. So for drawing objects, I didn't need an indicator. I just needed a ShowMe. So let's take all this, copy it, and then we're going to move it over to an indicator. Delete 24B2. Okay, paste that, verify. Now we're going to come back over here. I've got a shortcut here, so I'm just going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to add a new indicator, which is delete 24V2. Click OK. First, I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. So now it's plotting the close of each of these bars, right? But it still plotted our rectangle up here. Okay, so now this is the magic here. So you come back over to your development environment, and then before you draw the object here, before you draw the object here, you just want to go and do rect1 dot show in plot subgraph, and then that'll be equal to true. Okay, now we come back here, we verify this. Okay, now you see once we verified, our plot shows up there, right? Here's our plot. Now, the question now is, how come this plot is so thin? Because I still would expect for it to show me because it went 5 bars back, right? It did our initial bar and then it went 5 bars back. The high, did it represent the high and the low? And I typically don't draw stuff in the subgraph, so we're about to learn something here together now, right? So it's supposed to, we're supposed to be at this first plot here, we should be starting from the low, and at this second point we should be at the high. Okay, but it looks like it's only representing what price? It's only representing 58.2075, which up here is this high of the one bar, that bar back. So it didn't give us the low here. It didn't give us the low of our current bar. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. I think I know what it is. Anyway, all right. So let's come back here. Let me show you something that that I overlooked. Is when you are creating a rectangle, if you're this right here is we are getting value of current bar high at what? At current bar date time. Okay, and now here for this other point, the way that we have it worded here, we are getting value of current low, right? Because we're not referencing any bars back. The current low at 5 bars back. Okay, but instead of getting the current low, the current low, and then representing that our current low 5 bars back, we actually need to get the low of 5 bars ago. Okay, so once we do that, come back here, now verify. Oh. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's our rectangle. Okay, and it shows in the subgraph as well. So like I said, some of the times when you're when you have different programs and that kind of thing, you're going to want to show rectangles, or you're going to want to show a trend line, or show a trend line somewhere in one of these subgraphs, right? And so in order to get your trend line or your activity showing the subgraph, this is what you have to do. That is quite a number of mid-size. So you see, this is my mid-size orders, mid-size and large orders. There's quite a number of mid-size and large orders that happen right here. 735. That's interesting. 735, 735. Oh, I guess because 735 was the point at which it was determining whether or not it was going to be a break through this prior swing high. And again, if you're interested in how quickly I'm able to cycle through different colors and everything like that, that's a program that I put together, and it is called color changing. No, it's not color changing. EMA. It's color changes for objects, right? So I also can print text, break of previous swing high, gave larger orders. All right, and then I click on that with holding my control and my shift key at the same time, and it'll give me different sizes. Now, if I hit the shift key all by itself, it'll give me different colors. All right, so that's pretty much it. And then let's see. The only other thing I've been working on recently was with my news events. I'm having it show rectangles that move. So whenever we have a news event that happens, it creates a rectangle that goes laterally, and it will keep going laterally for as many number of days as I choose for it to. It'll keep going laterally. And you see here with this news event, Flash Manufacturing Flash Services PMI, we had one bounce off of it here, and we had another bounce and bounce off that same area, 1 minute time frame. This line here, this magenta line, this is VWAP, right? So this is prior day VWAP, and that's at close, right? So apparently this day VWAP closed at this price, and so it makes a horizontal trend line. What happened? Yeah, price bounced right on that VWAP. I'm seeing these things happen, so I'm starting to make note of it. And it's interesting though that we just crossed over yesterday's high. Okay, so I'm trying to make note of all these. All right, so these red lines are prior day's highs. All right, so a high or a low, red line. Blue line is a prior day low. The magenta dotted slash dotted lines are prior day's VWAP, and again, this is a prior day's high. And then we have our news events here. So, and then also for the news events, I made it so that, because, you know, if you have too many news events, right? So if you have too many news events, then it could cloud up or crowd up your window. So for instance, on this one, I think I have it set for, so there's one news event. That's a red folder news event. All right, let's change news event. So it'll show 4 days of boxes. Let's make it show 6 days of rectangles. Okay, so you see all these news events start firing off here. All these red rectangles. These are all from news events. Now I have it set up to where I can delete these. You see how this is an overlap of news events right here? So I can just click on the box, hold down Control, click on the box, and it will delete the box, right? So that's an easy way for me to clean up. Now there's an orange folder news event, hold down my Control, and then it just deletes. Now if I said, I deleted the wrong one, too many, I just go back and then I turn off my news bar, and then I just add it back, and then it'll put my boxes back on there. Okay. So anyway, a lot of fun stuff you can do with programming if you have a great command of it. I'm getting there. I don't profess to be there just yet, but still learning. So, all right, where in the world are, just curious, where in the world are we at on our, okay. All right, because I know we're starting to move back up, but on the chart, but we're not completely moved up just yet. Still have some room to go. 200 EMA up there. Plus we're at this potential support term resistance. Okay. All right, guys. Anyway, I wasn't going into all that today. So again, I appreciate everybody for joining and listening to the show today. Oh man, I'm just waking up. It is about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just waking up. I've got a few things programmed this morning, so I will get with you later. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.